This is Mr. Burns. This is a tutorial for 1.2.4 drawing worksheet shape number 2. We're going to model this and then we're going to make the drawing sheet for it with dimensions. On our worksheet or on the little piece of paper you got in class, the grid has a scale of 2 little blocks is equal to 1 inch. So if I was going to look at the overall dimensions of this cubic kind of shape that I'm going to make and then cut out these corners, it looks like it's about 6 blocks, or in other words 3 inches wide by 6 blocks or 3 inches tall, and then 1.5 inches or 3 blocks deep. So I'm going to go over to Onshape. I'm going to create a new document. I'm going to call this 1.2.4. We're going to put in drawing number 2. I'll use the number sign for number 2, and then make sure you put your name, your actual name, not the words, your name. Again, you get your 3 planes that you can sketch on. I like to hide these planes so I don't have to look at them, but they are still there, and you can kind of hover over them in your properties menu on the left here. For this one, I'm going to sketch on the top plane with my sketch tool. I'll just click on top plane, and then I'll hit top on my view cube so I can be looking at that flat piece of paper. So if I'm looking from the top, I need to have this 1.5 inch by 3 inch width, and then I'll pull it up all the way up 3 inches when I extrude it. So I'm going to check my center point rectangle. I'll start on the origin. I'll click and drag. When I click the first time, it gives me the width, which I need to be 3 inches. Hit enter, and I want my depth to be 1.5 inches. I'll click the green check mark, and then I'll go back to this view, the isometric view, by right-clicking and hitting isometric. All right, now I'm going to extrude this object up, and I want to extrude it up 3 inches. So I'll put 3 in the depth, and it'll go up 3 inches, and I'll hit OK. All right, if you click isometric each time, you kind of get it centered back on your screen. The next thing I need to do is I need to cut out these corners. All right, this top right corner is a 1 by 1 inch notch on my object, and it's only 1 inch deep. So there's a number of ways we could tackle this. I'm going to sketch on the top of the cube and then remove material on my way down. So I'm going to click sketch on the top. I'll click the top of the view cube. I'm going to pan over so I have this corner. This time I'm going to use a corner rectangle. And I'll click on this corner, click down and drag. Once I click again, I need it to be a 1 by 1 inch section of the now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking I might have done that incorrectly. This must be a 0.75 inch, because this is 3 inches. This is 3 blocks deep, 1.5 inches total, and it's about halfway. So I'm going to change those dimensions to 0.75. I can do that just by clicking the green check mark and then double clicking on that sketch and double clicking on this dimension to make it 0.75, and then click on this dimension to make this one 0.75. Okay, now that should be the right size, and when I click isometric again, now I can cut this material away. I'm going to go down 1 inch. 2 blocks down is 1 inch. I'll click extrude, click on that square. I'm not going to add material, I'm going to remove, and it's going to go down 1 inch. Green check mark. That little notch has been removed. Now I need to remove this 2 inch by 2 inch section square right here to get this larger notch cut away. And again, it has a depth of 0.75 inches. All right, we can sketch on the top plane again. I'll pan over. We'll use our corner rectangle. I'll start on this corner now. And this was a 2 by 2, I believe. So 2 inches here by the 0.75 inches there. Green check mark, isometric view. And I'll cut that material away with my extrude tool. remove 1 inch. Nope, 2 inches down. And check mark. And there's my object. It looks just like the one here. Let's make the drawing file for it. Okay. Down in the bottom left, we've got insert new element plus mark. We're going to create a drawing file. We're going to use an ANSI inch drawing file and click OK. Now we need to place that object that we just modeled. There it is right here. I'll click on this object. And then down over in the bottom left, we're going to place our front view. By clicking once, we'll move over and place our side view by clicking once. All right, then I can click this object again as my parent object, and then when I move up, it will give me the top view. And then if I click this bottom left object as the parent image, I can go diagonally to get the isometric view. Now I want to right click on my isometric view and make it the shaded view. So if I right click, computer's going a little slow for me today. The reason why I could not get this to be the shaded view is because I was using my projected view tool and I was right clicking and nothing was happening. So one thing to know about with all of these Onshape challenges is that whatever your cursor is going to tell you that you're using a tool. And if it's not a pointer, that means that you're currently using one of these toolbar tools. And in order to get rid of this, command clicker, you need to hit the escape key on your keyboard. And now my clicker is back to a mouse. All right. And if I was using this tool, my cursor turns into that little crosshair target thing, and just hit escape. I'm back to a regular cursor, and I can right click and click show hide, show the shaded view. All right, the next thing we need to do is click for our dimensions for width, depth, and height. I'm going to do my width dimensions on my front view down here with the dimension tool. I'll start by clicking on this bottom line, which spans the entire width of the whole object, and I'll drag it up to be between the top and front view, and click again. Then I'll choose to click from here to this line to get the 2.25 inch width here, and then the last width is just this little piece right here. All right, and I don't need to dimension this little piece here because that's going to be 3 total inches minus 2.25 inches. So I only need these 3 to get all of my width dimensions. Another point of preference that you might click into to solve is this has a 0 at the end, and maybe you only want 2 decimal places. So if you double click on any of your dimensions, you can set the number of decimal places in this toolbar menu that pops up, and then you just have to hit escape to get out of there. I'll let you decide how many decimal places you want to put on your dimensions. So over here now, we'll do the height dimensions on this side view. I'll click on the dimension tool again. We'll go from the bottom all the way to the top to get our maximum height. And we'll go from the bottom to this line here, which is 2 inches. And then we'll go from the bottom to this line here to get our 1 inch line. And there's all of our height dimensions. Last is the depth. We need the total depth, which is 1.5 inches, and we just need one of these dimensions here for the 0.75, and the rest would be 0.75 as well. On here, I am going to double click on those dimensions to get them down to just 2 decimal places, so I can save some space on my drawing. And there it is. Just make sure that you have a screenshot on your submission on Google Classroom, and you're done.